Crazy things that can only happen in Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Goku fights Bardock. In Chapter 44 of the SDBH anime, a fight that absolutely no one expected was suddenly introduced. Bardock would face his own son, Goku. It was Bardock that crossed paths with Goku himself, who was accompanied by Jiren at that point, and the Saiyan clearly wanted one thing, to test the power that the Dark Dragon Balls provided him with. Obviously, on the other side of the coin, Goku had absolutely no idea of who Bardock was. After all, it was not until the Granola Saga in the Dragon Ball Super manga that Goku was finally able to regain his memories, and given that Super Dragon Ball Heroes supposedly takes place after the events of the Tournament of Power, it was absolutely impossible for Goku to remember someone he had no recollection of. Before starting the fight, Bardock even calls Goku Kakarot, the same name he gave him when he was born, but later decides not to reveal his kinship to Goku, who was surprised at the fact that Bardock knew his real name. After that, they both decided to start their fight, with Bardock transforming into Super Saiyan 3 and Goku activating UI. Yes, in the SDBH anime, he has a much easier time using it than in the Tournament of Power. After exhausting themselves for a bit, the fight enters a phase which is represented by Bardock's Ki Blast colliding with Goku's Kamehameha. Upon realizing that he was not going to be able to beat Goku even after powering himself up, Bardock acknowledges his son's power and gets excited at the prospect of being able to train and get to Kakarot's level. In the end, Goku wins the Beam Clash and Bardock loses in his Super Saiyan 3 form. Vegito Blue fights Gogeta Blue. It was the end of 2022 and the Super Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime decided to drop a special episode outside its main continuity. In this episode, it was possible to see both Beat and Note, the main avatars of the game, playing against each other in the Super Dragon Ball Heroes game. And of course, they had their own unique teams. In a way, the chapter wanted to represent what the players could aim for while playing the game. Both players summoned their respective characters and had a sort of leader character, which actually provided a look into one of the most discussed topics ever about Dragon Ball. Who is stronger, Gogeta or Vegito? Yes, the promotional anime pitted both fusions in their blue transformations against each other, and of course, as the fight was actually a game between two players, only one could end up taking the victory. So who was the winner of the bout? If we talk about strictly the outcome of the match between Beat and Note, Vegito Blue was the winner in the end. However, the anime did not specifically show Vegito Blue overpowering Gogeta Blue, so the question of the fusion of which would win if they were to fight each other was kind of left unanswered. Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Gogeta and Vegito Blue fight Broly. Broly has been one of Dragon Ball's most popular characters since he first showed up in the Dragon Ball Z movies, to the point that in the end he was made canon through Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Yes, a movie even named after him. But that was not the only instance that the legendary Super Saiyan got time to shine within the Super realm, as the promotional anime for SDBH called upon the character from the Z movies in order to set the stage for a crazy fight in Chapter 31. Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Gogeta and Vegito Blue were trying to stop Fu from proceeding with his evil plans, but their attempt got interrupted by the very same Broly who entered the scene in his legendary Super Saiyan form and suddenly started to fight with Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Gogeta as he screamed the names of both Kakarot and Vegeta. As powerful as the legendary Super Saiyan is, he slowly but surely started to get overpowered by the fusion, so he got his own power-up, the Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Transformation. At that point, even Vegito Blue joined in the fight to help Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Limit Breaker. But Broly had become so strong that he was even able to toy with the both of them. It was especially noticeable against Vegito Blue, who was only able to defend himself and did not have the slightest chance to begin a counterattack. In the end, the fight was completely broken off as Vegito Blue drew Broly's attention so that Gogeta could try and stop Fu from continuing his plans. So, it was never made clear whether Broly could have been able to beat both fusions at the same time or not. Super Saiyan 4 Goku fights Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Right at the beginning of the Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime, in the very first chapter, we got to witness an amazing fight. Super Saiyan 4 Xeno Goku versus Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Yes, both selves of different timelines face each other in the promotional anime, but why did they start to fight? It all happened with Goku and Vegeta training with Whis, when suddenly Mai intervenes by claiming that Trunks has disappeared, and he is most likely in trouble. Fu shows up out of nowhere as well, and introduces himself as a really good friend of Trunks, something that Vegeta doesn't seem to buy at all. However, He tells them that Trunks has been trapped in the prison planet with a lot of criminals, and if they do not go help him, he will most likely die. As there does not seem to be any other way around, both Saiyans agree to go. Upon landing on the prison planet, Xeno Goku, who belongs to a different dimension than regular Goku, shows up and transforms to Super Saiyan 4. Goku does the same thing, but he goes into Super Saiyan Blue, and they both start to fight. The fight reaches a point that sees both Gokus clashing their Kamehamehas and creating a powerful explosion. After that, the fight gets interrupted by Fu's laugh. It is then explained that Fu is collecting data from the fighters he has gathered and imprisoned in the planet. Xeno Goku's intention was to create an explosion powerful enough to destroy the contained space that they are trapped in. Given that regular Goku sees that Xeno Goku is not actually a threat to them, but someone who is in charge of capturing people messing with the timelines, the fight ends with no decided winner. Cooler achieves the golden form. Super Dragon Ball Heroes does not care whether a character's transformation comes from Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super, or any of the movies from the franchise. This is also the case with Cooler, Frieza's older brother, who to this day remains as a character only seen in the DBZ movies. It was the second chapter of the Super Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime, and the show introduced Cumber, an evil Saiyan with a dark ki that was able to corrupt people's minds. This is exactly what happened to Goku, who entered a berserk state upon establishing contact with Cumber and started attacking his allies. So Goku was the bad guy at this point, and what's even funnier is that Cooler then got to play the goody part. Since Cooler was also trapped within the prison planet, he had the objective of surviving and escaping, so he decided to ally himself with both Trunks and Vegeta in order to stop Goku. But the berserk state provided Goku with an incredible power even as a regular Super Saiyan, and so Cooler decided that if his little brother managed to unlock a golden transformation, that would mean that he would also be able to accomplish such a feat. After powering up and reaching the golden state, Cooler had no difficulty whatsoever knocking out Goku, something he managed to do with a single punch. Then, he charged up a golden supernova and threw it towards Cumber. The explosion managed to break the control that Cumber had over Goku, thanks to that evil ki. And afterwards, all together, they decided it was finally time to face Cumber for real. Trunks introduces a reference to Kingdom Hearts. What if Trunks managed to access the Super Saiyan God transformation? Well, that is something that does happen in Super Dragon Ball Heroes. But what is even more incredible is the fact that it's during his peak moment in the show that he references the world of Kingdom Hearts. No, this is not a joke, although maybe it was intended as one. In Chapter 20 of the Super Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime, the Time Patrol is facing Dark King Mechikabra in an incredible fight. The Time Patrol featured multiple Z warriors, such as Goten, Gohan, Trunks, and both Goku and Vegeta. The main fighters this time were Trunks in his Super Saiyan God form, as well as Vegito in his Super Saiyan 4 form. And, as the fight went on, it was made clear that Mechikabra was not to go down easily. Super Saiyan 4 Vegito actually managed to deal some powerful blows to the villain, but he was still standing. This was until Trunks, who was fighting with what was known as a Ki sword, yes, an alternative version of the name that Kingdom Hearts gives to the weapons used by Sora, the main character, got his weapon powered up by godly powers until it transformed into a fully charged version. With his Ki sword now in a complete state, Trunks was able to slice Mechikabra in his usual fashionable way and got him trapped within the light, thanks also to the help of the celestial bird, Toki Toki. So, in the end, Trunks, who is commonly known for his time traveling, beat evil with the help of a Ki sword in the same fashion that Sora travels through the Disney worlds and clears all the darkness within them, also using his own Ki weapon. Future Gohan fights Trunks. What if there was a different future timeline that had Gohan surviving and Trunks getting killed alongside Bulma? That is precisely the idea behind introducing Future Gohan in the Super Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime, an appearance that is quite dramatic as he even has to fight Trunks, his best friend and student. It was chapter 42 of the promotional anime, and Trunks could be seen fighting a man wearing dark robes with his identity hidden. However, as the fight went on, Trunks' suspicions got finally confirmed. He was facing future Gohan, but why? Well, Gohan tells the story of how in his timeline, he failed to protect everyone he cared about, and so, this time, he was given the power of the Dark Dragon Balls in order to show that he was stronger than anyone else. For this Gohan, there is absolutely nothing that matters other than proving his strength, something he was unable to do when it actually mattered most. Future Gohan transforms into a dark Super Saiyan and starts fighting Trunks, who is in his Super Saiyan God form. As Gohan seems to have the advantage even with Trunks saying that he cannot beat him with just one arm, the fight reaches a climax of Gohan using a Kamehameha that clashes with a Masenko by Trunks. Both key attacks clashing, Trunks remembers the days he spent training with Gohan, and he is powered up by the emotions to the point that he surpasses Gohan. In the end, Gohan is shown on his knees as Trunks gets the victory in a fight full of feelings. Super Saiyan 3 Rose is a real transformation. Super Saiyan Rose was an incredibly powerful transformation that made Goku Black able to beat both Goku and Vegeta in their Super Saiyan Blue forms. It was shown that the combination of Goku's Saiyan genes alongside those of a god made for an incredibly powerful foe. So, what would happen if the Super Saiyan Rose transformation reached a third level? Yes, this was something featured in the Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime. Chapter 37 of the promotional anime, and Goku Black was still committed to the Zero Mortals plan. With seemingly no one to stop him, this time it looked as if he would finally be able to see his biggest wish granted. However, he got interrupted by a Bardock from a parallel universe that had discarded his name long ago. Both then started to fight, with Black using Super Saiyan Rose, while Bardock was a regular Super Saiyan. As they fought, it was made increasingly clear that Black's Rose form was far superior to Super Saiyan. Even as he was already winning the fight, Black suddenly powered up more to the point that his hair grew much like in the Super Saiyan 3 transformation, thus achieving Super Saiyan 3 Rose. Black didn't take long to show that he was much stronger now, and he blasted away the Saiyan warrior with a massive ki blast. With a now much bigger gap between their power, Rose was able to corner the warrior with no name, and his demise looked close. However, the final chapter finished with Black getting interrupted by two incredibly powerful warriors, MUI Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Berserk Vegeta. For now, it looked as though the life of the warrior with no name was finally spared, but Black made a huge statement with his Super Saiyan 3 Rose transformation. Turles and Bojack team up. Dragon Ball Z has a ton of iconic movie villains that were quickly left forgotten in the past of the franchise. Only a few names, such as Gogeta and Broly, were later brought up as canon characters. But what happens to the likes of Turles and Bojack? Well, fortunately, the SDBH anime really knows how to make the most of them, as portrayed in Chapter 23. In the beginning of the chapter, it is possible to see Fu, the Super Dragon Ball Heroes main villain at that point, gathering up several villains that once attacked Earth. Some of them coming from the DBZ movies, but some others even from Dragon Ball GT. Among them, it is possible to find both Bojack and Turles, who actually start to fight against each other in order to test their power. Nonetheless, Fu ends up interrupting them in order to give them an important mission. They must fight Goku and Vegeta. The chapter then jumps precisely towards both Goku and Vegeta as well as the other characters. And out of nowhere, both Saiyans are forced to deflect a couple of key attacks. After the surprise assault, Bojack and Turles reveal themselves, and what's more interesting, Goku and Vegeta actually remember them. So even if they were both villains from Dragon Ball Z movies that were never canon, the Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime decides to turn their presence into something canon that actually happened within the Dragon Ball storyline. Although it is important to remember that SDBH is not canon. After acknowledging both villains, Goku and Vegeta start to trade blows with them. And what's really impressive is that Turles and Bojack are capable of matching the Saiyan's power. What's more, even as they transform to Super Saiyan Blue, Bojack and Turles still manage to fend them off thanks to the use of the Dark Ki provided by Fu. Even if Chapter 23 of the Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime does not provide a conclusion to the fight, the fact that it gives screen time to both villains is memorable enough.